Sam Meyer. And Valerie Pyatt. Did I get that right?
Here. Yeah, you got it right. Good job.
And then city staff people.
So we have Paul Mood, city engineer online. In the room, Chris Fair, transportation planner. Martin Ince, transportation planner. Kim Austin from Metro Plan. And David Spence, council liaison.
Okay, so
Oh, and sorry, and Greg Crahy's online from the Public Works Department. Sorry, Greg.
Yep, that's okay. I'm just standing in, listening in for Sam Beckett. He's out on got called to a fire up north. So just listening today. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
And then moving on to preliminary general business. Any announcements from members of the BAC?
I just wanted to briefly share my experience. I was in Salt Lake City last month. That's why I missed this meeting. And I was there for a music festival, and the festival provided all attendees with free public transportation access for all the days of the festival, from like riding the light rail, bus, and like the bike share program. So I tested each one every day. And yeah, my girlfriend loved it. And but it was cool. And the festival itself had a bike valet. It was totally full, to the point where it was very slow getting our bikes out of the valet. Yeah, I think it was really cool. And just since like we're on, we've been talking about potentially bringing some kind of bike share program to Flagstaff, or maybe not through the city, but having a vendor do it. I can't remember the brand of our bikes, but I will say it had headlights and taillights, but only while you were pedaling. So when you're stopped at a light, no one can see you at night, which is like when the event ended. So that is a cool idea, like for getting it to always have power, but just something to look forward to for when we are considering what we do want to bring, because that was like a little scary.
So that listed to the list of questions to ask.
Yeah. But yeah, it was cool. It was just like, wow, the infrastructure. I don't know if it was good, but there was a considerable amount of bike infrastructure downtown Salt Lake.
That's my former hood.
Okay.
I lived there.
Yeah. What did you think about it?
Well, it's just improved a ton
Okay.
from when I first moved there in
Yeah.
2000.
Sure.
So it's been something they've been working on.
Well, I was like, this is amazing compared to
Yeah, light rail
Phoenix, where
didn't
I'm
exist
from. Yeah.
when I moved there.
Yeah, the light rail was awesome. Like we were able to walk to the station from wherever we wanted to be.
And a lot of the protected bike, I don't know if they'd be called lanes, but paths and stuff didn't exist
Sure.
before, but now like there's pretty good connectivity.
And they would have like the parallel street parking kind of blocking the bike lane in a lot of places, which was nice. Kind of like I've seen that in DC as well, but yeah, that was cool.
Did you go to 9th and 9th and see the whale?
I did.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know there's like a big, no, I don't know actually.
Okay.
But it's the whale.
It's just like a giant piece of art whale.
Cool.
It's cool.
Next time.
And it's kind of like what that neighborhood's known for,
Okay, yeah.
just south of downtown Salt Lake. But it's giant, like,
I've heard of the 7th and 7th group ride, but I've not heard of the whale.
it's very close to the center.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check it out next time.
I have one. So at the end of last month, Metro Plan had funding to send a few city employees, and two from the city, myself and Paul Mood, city engineer, who's online, Mandia Gonzalez of Metro Plan, and Elizabeth Collins of Mountain Line. We all went to Washington, DC for the NACTO Designing Cities Conference, which was great. I was there, I believe, five or six full days. So really got our money's worth. I was provided free transportation options by the conference. So we got a Metro pass, could ride for free all over the city, as well as there were a bunch of vendors for the micromobility share programs that exist across the city. It seemed like just about everyone was offering some form of a free ride to conference attendees. I stuck with Lime because it was very easy. It was free rides for the duration of the conference. I probably rode between 15 to 20 miles on an electric scooter around
The
DC.
scooter?
Yeah.
Bike.
I rode the scooter,
Okay.
yeah. And the bikes did seem like they were going a bit faster, but for some reason, I just found myself getting back on a scooter, and I don't really know why. Maybe I was more interested in testing them out because we were talking about them so much. But it definitely, I haven't spent much time in cities that offer scooter share programs, especially cities that I'm familiar with. So I had the opportunity to grow familiar with the area that I was in and become comfortable riding. And they have fantastic facilities in DC. There's a reason that NACDO was hosted there. So it was great. It reassured, or I guess gave me some new opinions about how scooter share programs benefit cities. Which we've been talking about quite a bit, but I got to go and experience it, along with a lot of other fantastic sessions. Was able to bring a lot of knowledge back with me. So, and Paul was with me as well. So I don't know if he has anything to add, but I just wanted to share that with the group. Looks like we can just move on.
Had one, oh, go ahead.
No, I'm always trying to get my phone off of mute, but no, it was a good conference, learned a lot. So nothing else to share, but they had some good facilities there.
Great. Thanks, Paul.
I had one other brief thing. I spent a few hours around MoCAF the last week or two, just because I was throwing an event there. And so I finally saw that closure between Blackbird Roost and Mill Pond Apartments, where they have like this
Yep.
big fence. It's
Yeah.
like no cars.
Yep.
Clearly like impossible for a car to get through, and it also says no bikes. And then there's like clearly a path where people have been using, whether walking or on their bike. And then like a couple days later, I was back and they had blocked that path, and then there's a new one next to it. And I was watching people bike through, well, they'd have to like push their bike up or down the hill.
Right.
It's like, it's clearly people who live there. So it's just like a bummer that, I don't know why that was erected. I don't know if anyone has any idea. I think it's a private, development, but, I don't know if that's something they asked for or what, but it was a huge bummer watching people just like, it's not like, roadies, getting their Strava records going through there. It's like people getting groceries and stuff.
Right. I used to like to cut through
Yeah.
there
Mhm.
to get to the gym.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of a huge bummer to not be able to do that. I have to
Yeah.
go along Route 66
Yeah.
for a few blocks.
Yeah, I do the
Mhm.
same. Yeah. Yeah, that's a real bummer. And back.
It's almost harder coming back because like I ride the sidewalk.
I do,
and-
going the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
Yeah.
'Cause- or you gotta go all the way through NAU and all the way back to NAU to get 5 feet to where you were.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know if that's something people who live there are saying or what. It's,
Ask a question? No, it's not. It's, next, public comment. I'll wait.
So I have an update, but I don't know if it's here or not for the bike project I've been working on Route 66. Is now a good time to kind of bring that up? Okay,
Yeah.
so I got a response back from David Lemke and Jeff Bauman related to Route 66 and Fanning. So they've sent me some Excel spreadsheets. They've done an evaluation on the bike path side of that road. So right on Route 66 as it passes Fanning. And long story short, as I look at it, they did a lot of research on there, but long story short, it will not negatively impact traffic at all for them to turn the crosswalk on when the light turns green for both sides. So we're gonna meet, we were supposed to meet this morning, but he had to delay the meeting. So we're gonna meet in July, and my guess is they're gonna schedule setting that on. So that would be great. So when that happens, then the only road left is Route 66 and Steve's by ADOT because they had said it and then they set it back. And so I'm gonna try to reach out to them again, but they've been ghosting me. So if I can get this Fanning one done, then I can do that. And then from the mall to downtown Flag on that Route 66 trail, every light will be, walk by default on that road.
And then we will get a crown. Crown the king.
So It's
It's a good
yeah,
work.
yeah, thank you. It'll be fun it'll be good. So,
What was that second intersection? I know it was Banning that you're working with the city on,
yes, Steve's
Steve's, and that's with ADOT. that
with
you're working
ADOT.
on.
And they had turned it on for 6 months and then they had to do something and they made a change and then it was off and then it was back on again and now it's off again. And so I've reached out to them and did another incident ticket, but they've not responded, but they're also busy, so. I think it'd be great to, frankly, if I can get them to do that one, to write a little letter to the city in the paper to talk about what was done by ADOT in the city to make it happen and it'd be a nice little, letter to the editor, something or another, so. And then I'm gonna move on to Fourth Street. And there's a lot on Fourth too we can work on, so.
What was the second city intersection? Fanning was one? Was it-
Fanning, Steve's,
Was there a second city one that they responded back to you?
they've talked about the one on Country Club and Solier. But that one, we had some communication issues on what was requested, what I didn't request it the right way. So they looked at turning all 4 of them on and they evaluated it and said, yeah, this is gonna destroy traffic. And I was like, yeah, I'm sure it will. But if we did just the bike path one on the Country Club lane,
Daniel's here.
we won't mess up that traffic. And so they're going to evaluate that again. So, does that make sense?
Yeah, the city responded to you on, it was just the Fanning intersection that
It
they
was
had.
just that corner of
Okay.
Fanning intersection. Yeah. And it was just for that bike lane side. So, right, so there's 4, right?
Yeah, the foot trails.
On there, yeah, just on the foot trail.
He just emailed us saying that he was locked out.
But that, I do
But
think,
he's-
as we talked about, with the food center over there too, I think that light would help food center traffic, because I've seen a lot there. People ignoring those intersections as I do, because you have to go back, into the dirt to press the button to get there.
No comments, Kevin.
Okay.
Okay, we can get started. Any announcements, Daniel? Is that where we're at? Were we still on announcements?
We
We're
waited.
just wrapping up announcements.
Just wrap.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys.
So yeah, I'll keep you posted as that progresses, so.
Public comments? And then Daniel, do you want to take over?
Yeah, sure. I didn't win anything in the raffle. What happened to the bike week raffle? Must be broken or something.
Because you didn't win?
Yeah.
I've never won.
No.
I have a question. Is the hot crossing on Route 66 in Blackbirders, is it fixed? Cause it was broken. On the 29th of May, it was inoperable.
Is that the one on the west side?
That's the one that stops traffic in both ways
Yeah.
and turns red and.
As you approach Milton Road.
Yeah,
It was working the other day. I saw
it was,
working,
okay,
yeah.
cause I know that, I think Carlton notified David Lemke and he notified ADOT. And so I was hoping that it was, I just
Yeah.
haven't traveled
I
through
think
there.
it was this week that I saw it working.
Great, that's cool.
And it was
Awesome.
wonderful because someone in like a walker was going across and it was going and everyone was stopped and it was very nice.
Cool,
Yeah.
great, yay.
Daniel, I just saw your email.
Yeah.
Is this an agenda item, this approval of minutes? I didn't see those minutes.
Yeah, no, we don't have them. They're
Okay.
just, yeah.
We'll circle back.
Yeah.
Next one. Is Sam on line?
She's not here, no.
Not here. I know the transportation committee meeting this month. Last week, right?
It was at the beginning of June. Yep.
We can, or hopefully.
Sam was there.
Okay. Oh, great. She'll have an update for us then. Who's on the next one? I think we need a volunteer for the next one. Anybody able to make it to the next one? It's in 5 weeks.
What
Right.
day is it in July?
First Wednesday in August.
August, it's only every 2 months, so.
Okay. Can do that.
Okay.
I'm happy to take that on.
Chris, can you send Kevin the?
Sure.
That one?
Yeah, August 6th, it will be. That's the first Wednesday. And I can make a note to forward that along.
Extra points if you go in person.
Yeah.
You know,
A check. I will let you know.
Okay, you got time to let us know.
No, I can do it. I can do it. Yeah. My daughter flies to Ecuador on the 8th. I guess, but I'm looking the 6th.
I know exactly where it is.
for future agendas, we can put an item under concluding announcements. So we have the standing item there now is agenda items for next regular meeting. We can put next Transportation Commission meeting.
Attendee.
Yeah, and then give the date and then we can,
Yeah.
talk through who was able to attend.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah, I'm glad we're doing that. That feels a lot for us. Wow. 2014 edition.
These are old. There's a reason Martin handed them out.
17.
The
There's gonna
collector's
be
item.
discussion.
I had some pretty good spelling.
Still relevant though, just because it's old. Just
No.
because it's old doesn't mean that
Just,
it's,
you
no
shouldn't be
longer
put into your pasture just because you're.
useful. Exactly. Few of us will attest to that.
We're going on to bike-friendly community renewal application.
Yes, we are.
Where we're at.
I pulled up.
Which way would you prefer, the closer one, the further one?
Stay closer. Okay. So this was a topic at our last BAC. But to recap, city staff is preparing an application for renewal of the city bike-friendly community status. We've been working diligently for a few months and that deadline is upon us. Next, a week from today, it's due.
Wow.
So we've, it's been a collaborative effort. I've put a lot of time in, somebody in transportation engineering has been putting a lot of time in, multiple meetings with Martin and Kim. We're coming to a close on it. A few more things to do, including what we're hoping to source some information from this meeting. To recap, Flagstaff, last time that it applied was 2018 and it was designated as a silver status. So we're in this application, we're working to highlight all of the things that have, would be considered improvements since 2018. So the application is largely built around these 5 E's that make up columns 2 through 6 here: engineering, education, encouragement, evaluation and planning, and equity and accessibility. And we provided 2 prompts in the agenda to hopefully get some conversation going around the BAC that could give us some useful information to include in our application. So we can take these one at a time because I think that they're a little bit different from each other, and we can kind of just let things flow. They are on the application, but our first question or prompt is what could be done differently in order to make bicycling safer, more enjoyable, and/or more convenient in your community? And as you approach, sharing your thoughts around this, think about all of the different categories and how both of these questions may apply. So if there's anybody who wants to, respond or react, get things underway for this first one, that'd be great. And it's in the agenda if you need to take a look at it to refresh yourselves. But what could be done differently in order to make bicycling safer, more enjoyable, and/or more convenient in our community?
Thought about this. So, and I guess like one of the things I thought about was I'm going to Park City this week. Park City's a gold city, lived there for 5 years. And I loved riding my bike around there. I know I'm a mountain biker, but I rode my bike all around. And like the things I loved about it is that there were a few things. Separated bike paths, like along all the major corridors. So along I-80, along 40, 224, and I think it's 248. So like the whole perimeter of Park City had like separated bike paths. And then getting through town, there were other separated bike paths.
Wow.
Some of them paved, some of them like gravel or limestone. So like a combination of those things, but just really easy to get places. And then, getting through communities, it wasn't that, like, it's pretty safe because the speed limit's slow, but like I could get places quickly. So that was one thing. Then another big thing is intersections. Like I think intersections on bikes, it's a huge pain. They have tunnels and bridges to get like under and over all of those major intersections. Some of them aren't even very fancy. Like some of them are kind of like dark and like sometimes there's water flowing through them, but you can still like avoid like having to sit at a stoplight to get across the I-80 like ramp that goes over I-80 or whatever. So I think that's super nice. And then like something I was thinking like here, so there's all that construction happening on Cedar and they like built that tunnel for, I'm guessing, water mitigation, but like am I saying that correctly? I think there's like a tunnel going under Cedar that's for like water.
Yeah,
Flood stuff. Okay, yeah.
Along.
Like a major project that's
Yeah,
going on the
huge
road.
project.
Yeah, spruce wash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, it'd be awesome if there were also like a tunnel going under for pedestrians and cyclists, especially like with the high school there. And that's like such a busy
Mhm.
intersection.
To get from the north side of Cedar to
Yeah.
the south side.
Yeah.
Understood.
And then just, I'll always say like recreational routes. So you can ride recreationally, have routes with signs so cars know like, share the road, give 3 feet, those types of things.
Yeah, pretty great.
Yeah, I've always said that my dream is signage that matches our main arteries, no?
Arterials?
Arterials.
Yeah.
And just some kind of color coded signage.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire network.
Mhm.
Has always been kind of my
Yep.
dream in town.
Yeah, I've seen people also like lost on, they're like, I'm trying to get, I don't, like, yeah, you gotta. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, a bunch of signs.
Make them as important as streets, right? Why wouldn't you? Because they're as important.
Yeah. And I know like Park City does have those signs and it will tell you like approximately, 15 minutes by bike to
Oh, I love it.
get to this spot from where you are.
I love
That's
that.
nice, yeah. I guess on an e-bike, that could be different.
Yeah, I would echo a lot of the things you just said. I think, like in the near future, just like filling in certain spots on the foots would be really nice. I mean, like it's mostly like intersections
Yeah.
come to mind. Like I think of the one, what is it, like going towards, it's like between Walmart and campus. Do you remember what that area is? Yes, McConnell. It's just like, how do you get across that?
Yeah, and there's actually a connected foot trail on both sides, but it's pretty tough to navigate that
Right.
intersection
Right.
continuously.
Yeah, and yeah, I think like, everything's with the ultimate goal of making it more attractive than driving your car for, I don't know, sustainability reasons, and so on. I don't know if this meets like these criteria, but, oh yeah, access to bike equipment and repair. So there's like the repair stand in the park right here. Are there others that the city has put up anywhere?
Kickstand Cafe has
So
one,
Kickstand has one. I know there's one out front of Dark Sky.
Absolute Bikes.
Okay,
I think the county might put one or two out too. I think there's one at Fort Tuttle,
okay.
but yeah.
There is one.
So, but
Yeah.
nothing like, at in the east side of town.
Is there one at Buffalo Park?
I feel like there has to be, but.
I haven't seen one, and I was just there.
I don't think so. I feel like no. And I don't think there's one at Bushmaster either, which would be a good spot for something like that. So I mean, I've used them a bunch. I don't see any other people using them, but I've used them.
If you need a little air.
Yeah.
So one of the first things that you said was filling in the Foots network.
Yeah.
So do you mean like making more Foots connections, like as overall infrastructure improvements, or something more specific about individual Foots trails?
I guess I just like, yeah, like improving areas that like exist, but like aren't inviting, or like safe.
Sure.
And I mean, that's something we've talked about a lot, like, and I've seen the plans for a lot of that stuff, and it's awesome. Like, I love that, but build it, yeah. So, I mean, seems like we're on the right track.
Anything else on this first question?
What about, we focused a lot on engineering. How about the other, categories like education, encouragement, evaluation and planning, equity and access?
What is VMT, reducing work-related fleet VMT?
It's a miles travel.
Yep. Yeah, so like one way that the city is trying to push that effort is providing e-bikes and scooters for city staff to use during their day. That's an effort that they're making to reduce fleet VMT. Instead of us jumping in a city truck, now we have the opportunity to take an e-bike where we want to go for city business.
Are those being used?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
I mean, you too?
Well, and for instance, the new DCC, Downtown Connection Center, there is no parking associated with it.
I've noticed that.
So employees have to park, they either have to buy parking like everyone else
In
in
the
the
lot.
city parking like anyone else, or they have to park at the existing task bar and ride the bus or walk or bike.
And they can park their bike for free.
Yep.
And the Stella.
I think a point in the city's favor in regard to encouragement and evaluation and planning is that in my opinion, Flagstaff is keeping up with technology. We're considering micromobility. We've adapted our rules for e-bikes on our trails and in our biking system. Scooters, I think we can list that as a favorable attitude and approach that Flagstaff has.
Great, thank you. Estella?
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely agree with everything that's been said. think just, yeah, want to highlight the intersection piece and just making sure that, yeah, we're prioritizing the intersections and like creating separated and complete intersections. And then I think it hasn't been discussed too much, but it's kind of like the other side of the coin, which is deprioritizing vehicle travel. So things like, yeah, slowing down cars, lowering the speed limits on roadways, reducing the amount of parking everywhere, just so then, yeah, like cycling or is more of an attractive mode. Um, and then in terms of the categories, I feel like, yeah, education is definitely improving. Like I think especially a lot of the work that MetroPlan has recently done, like with the videos, and so I think we're actually decent in Flagstaff in that regard. I think that the equity and accessibility, there's data collection and goals on there. Um, I think this is an area that we could improve. I don't know how much data the city has in terms of like equity and understand and like prioritizing where improvements are in terms of like Title VI neighborhoods or low income areas. So I think that's just one area that we can highlight in the application.
We highlighted in the application that we lowered the speed limit on Butler.
I believe that we have. I think one of the questions is, have you recently lowered a speed limit?
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's chagrin except for us.
Have we mentioned that Flagstaff, historically at least, has been a part of Race Across America? That coast to coast bicycle ride where it's one rider supported by as many bikes in the van as they need, but it's one rider, no time limitations. It usually takes the lead rider, 8 days to ride across America. And by the time they get to the East Coast, they're crazy. But I think is it still going through Flagstaff?
No.
To Martin for that.
We can look it up. I haven't seen it. I used to see it, you know.
Yeah, I used to see it too.
I haven't.
If it's still going through Flagstaff, I think we should mention it. Not that we have anything to do with it, but we're one city that they used to ride through, I mean.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and along that same line of thought, there's a lot of other events that I've heard about that I wasn't aware of until we started on this effort specifically that Flagstaff is involved in as far as races, groups, yeah, along that line. Yeah, hullabaloo's in the application.
Accounts.
Wednesday night short track.
I don't even know. I've seen it.
You see like the big group of people leaving from Flag Factory.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Where is it called that?
Because we go race.
Where?
Oh, it's to be determined. We just follow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Usually up on the Mesa.
Tuesday Gloria's
Gloria's.
rides, the Peanuts Pines race. Yeah, there's like so many. I mean, I'm just looking at the bicycle culture and promotion. Like, I feel like we have that's a pretty strong category for us. Like, how many businesses in town have a bike in their logo or are named after a bike component? Although I went to Single Speed the other day, the coffee roastery, and they don't have a bike rack out front. You have to go around the side of the building. I thought that was pretty annoying.
Yeah, I went down a bit of a rabbit hole on I believe it's attached to Single Track's website.
Yeah.
And they just outlined like a lot of the different bike groups and races that seems to be going on. I feel like a few of the ones that were just mentioned, I found on there.
I think we could do a better job of having more bike-friendly businesses in town. So the League of American Bicyclists has they have specific an application for a bike-friendly business. In addition to communities, universities, and all, NAU is one, we are one, the whole bit. There is a bike-friendly business. And Mountain Line's one, Absolute is one.
What's the criteria? What do they have to do to be bike friendly?
You would ask me that.
No, I'm sure it's like.
I think it's generally things like.
Give me a minute. Okay. I'll give it-
I'm sure
I'll give it-
providing bike racks, showers,
There's,
supporting
it's,
guaranteed.
Showers for employees.
Yeah.
and there's, I think, incentives for encouraging your employees, giving incentives for riding to work, like there's, I think.
Under encouragement, yeah.
Right, there's, and I was doing a lot of research. There are a lot of businesses that actually do encourage and give incentives.
Yeah.
Joy-Con's amazing, by the way. They give massive incentives. I did not know the incentives that they give to their employees.
Yeah, I bet you a lot of companies in town already meet the criteria, but they don't know about the application or that there's even a.
A way to become.
Yeah, like, yeah. I'm sure a little bit of outreach could probably go a long way to getting more businesses.
Yeah.
Registered if that would, I mean, it's a little late for this application, but.
Yeah, no, it's something to think about.
Stella has her hand up.
No, you can just interrupt us.
I was just gonna add, because I remember filling one out for Mountain Lion. It is definitely an application, and it's decently extensive. So I think you do need like a champion at a work site that has the time and just the I guess interest to fill it out. And I can't remember if there's a fee or not, but and then the Bike Friendly University, the NAU is part of that, is definitely an extensive application similar to the bike friendly communities. So but it's good that NAU already completes that and updates it regularly.
Why did they make it so hard?
Yeah. Why are we filling out this insane?
So you feel like it was worthwhile when you got it.
I guess so.
It means that much more.
If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good point.
Another question, when you think about that first question, which is what could be done differently to make biking safer, more enjoyable and more convenient? You think about those categories, which one would be most important? Engineering, could we start with infrastructure?
I feel like.
I think everything flows from that, right? Because if you don't have that, then there's not a bike culture. Or it can't be allowed to flourish. I mean, that's just my opinion, but.
Except I love what you guys are doing with evaluation and planning. That's, you know, planning for that engineering. I'd like to, where you guys are doing all the rest of this stuff.
Because sometimes evaluation comes before. Yeah.
Yeah, that's assuming the engineering has.
Yeah, but when I go to a community, like what I notice is the engineering.
Right?
If I were,
Infrastructure,
yeah.
Immediately, yeah.
Yeah.
So this question that you're posing, do you have to answer that in the application?
Yes.
Yeah, we literally have to write an answer to this question.
Wow, so you guys have to highlight your deficiencies.
Highlight our deficiencies, yeah.
Yes.
And we thought, we could answer the question. We have our own thoughts, but.
Oh, yeah.
It feels.
No, I
important.
appreciate you get our input. That's just interesting that you're trying to get to gold standard, but they're like, well, tell us where you suck.
I think if you read the preliminary part of the application, it says, do not be afraid to tell us where you suck.
Wow.
I would be afraid to, I would.
No. Think about it. Like when we fill out this application and get feedback, as much as we want to celebrate our success,
Yeah.
go from bronze to silver to gold, we want to know how to get better.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
we want
Is
the
it-
highest
is it
version of like
Something to strive.
Yeah.
at a national level, like compared to other cities, compared to Park City, compared to Salt Lake City, what should we do better? Where are we deficient?
No, I mean, I'm all for it. But if you're like, yeah, we got demoted to bronze, but good news, they told us what we can work on.
Yeah, we also don't want
No.
to get to a point where, we celebrate, let's say we move to gold. We celebrate moving to gold and then
It's
we're
not
done.
laurels,
We're
yeah.
done. Again, everything is
We did it.
fantastic.
Right?
They do demote.
Yeah. Sure they do.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's important to highlight, you can be platinum as well.
Oh.
There is a level above gold. And there's only like 5 cities on that list.
My brother lives in one of them. I need to go get out there.
Which one?
Davis.
Oh, Davis.
I probably shouldn't go there, huh?
I think
You should go there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
why
you
not?
should go, we should all go there. I think that's.
No hills
I
in
know.
sight.
That's what he says. It's like, you can't mountain bike here.
Clarksdale has.
There's a bridge that goes over the interstate, like a bike bridge, and that's the only hill that you.
I think the runners use that for hill
Do they?
intervals. Yeah.
For their hard workout day.
Estella, I see your hands up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think that's from before, but I did put it in the chat. There's also a diamond level that's super rare.
Really?
Oh.
Where is Diamond Level?
You go there and they give you a bike.
I don't know if it exists yet, but they
Bentonville, like, for a while, like if you moved to Bentonville, they'd give you a bike.
That's one way to get people there. Huh?
Amsterdam, maybe.
Okay, great. Well, I think it's a good time to maybe pivot to the second question. So considering these same categories, what are the greatest challenges or barriers the community faces in taking action towards the efforts described in our previous response?
Has to be that not all of our citizens want this.
Yeah.
It has to be the, you know, a lot of times I feel like we're in an echo chamber and that the outside world is like, no, we're not ready for this. We like our petroleum.
But I mean, yeah, maybe could be considered a education deficiency because it's like, hey, if you're people off the roads, it's better if you like to drive, right?
I think our weather in the wintertime is another one.
Great, yeah. Yeah, maybe the fact that some of our major roadways are controlled by the state, not the city.
That's another one, yeah.
And it seems like there's not unlimited resources to
Yeah,
pay for all this stuff.
no, 100%.
Is this a new hand, Estella? Are you still messing with us?
It was, but actually it just mentioned, I was gonna mention the ADOT piece that, yeah, like the main roadways are owned by ADOT, so there's no control from the city.
Part of the challenge is the nuance to the weather winter thing is like we can go talk to Tucson and Phoenix all day long, and some of those things are just become really difficult that they do without even thinking about it when we have snow plows, for example. We have snow. We still have snow. For the moment, we have snow in the winter.
Significant.
Yeah.
I mean, like one of the top snowiest places in the nation.
And it doesn't melt super quick, even though it's sunny here,
Yeah.
there's just so much tree cover that I think there's a lot of shade.
Just building shadow that, it
Gets
sticks
icy.
around. Yeah, that's one of the toughest things about exploring infrastructure potential is how snow plows could potentially interact with it.
I would also say maybe just, status for safety, like we're a dark sky city. I don't think anyone here wants to change that, but like it does make it safer or less safe to
That is a really.
ride
good
at
point.
night.
Really good point.
That is interesting.
Yeah, it's funny that you said it. I would have never thought it, but you're right. There's been, at least a dozen scenarios where you're right. It's been too dark to,
Yeah,
it's.
you won't see a pothole, you won't see a,
You won't see a pothole, you won't see a glass or, it's like,
Someone doesn't see
if
you.
someone doesn't see you, what you thought your backlight was on.
Any other thoughts along this second question before we continue on?
Did you guys have anything on your list that we didn't just mention?
No, Kim, did we?
I just send answers. I haven't seen the application. Chris just sends me questions and I send answers, but I don't remember what I sent.
pretty similar to what we just said.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I don't know if we formulated an answer for this one yet necessarily either, so we may not have put our heads together on it quite yet.
It's probably one of the harder ones that we left at the end.
Blank.
How are we doing with staffing? It seems like we have more staffing now than ever before.
Yeah, and there's a whole worksheet I have to fill out about it. That's, you know, how many full-time employees contribute to biking improvements. And we certainly have a lot to speak to as far as improvements from 2018. I mean, I'm sitting here, Carlton has joined. Kevin, exactly.
And Corey,
Corey, same
Yeah.
as the school.
there's 4.
Corey,
Cooper, he's a full-time Safe Routes School coordinator. I've
Nice.
never had one before.
okay, yeah. Is that 5?
4.
4?
And you divide that into your it's like, how many full-time employees do you have per 25,000 people in your city? And it's like some rate
We
essentially.
have what, 80,000 here?
Yeah, 77,000 ballpark. So, we're doing pretty well. And I think it's like a Likert scale or like, you know, 1 to like 2 to 3, 4 to 5, and it's pretty impressive. Like, we're pretty high up there for that one.
Okay.
I would say one of the other challenges is kind of resource based, but you know, a lot of needs are fairly immediate, but projects take time to
Yeah,
develop. And, you know, we spent a lot of time, like I mentioned, on
Yeah.
the planning end of things, and now we're kind of at implementation. These things just take a long time.
You gotta do a grant for a design and you gotta have an RFA for the designer and then you gotta get a design and then the design has to
Yeah.
go through public comment. Oh, yeah.
well, it's true. I've been kind of thinking about it as well as like every action we do has an opposite reaction, right? So that's like thinking of the traffic lights I just talked about. They had to evaluate it so much because of the fear of messing with traffic patterns or delaying traffic. It's a barrier towards them just saying, well, let's just open the street, you know, like, or the dark skies is another example, right? We can't just light it up.
That's probably a really good example of why things take that long.
Yeah,
I think, you know, I think it was you, Kai, that mentioned that, you know, it's good to have thorough planning. Maybe it was you, Kevin. Sorry, I don't remember. It's good to have thorough planning up front. Sometimes I think about places like Portland and even like Davis to some extent. I think they just do a lot of things. Like they don't necessarily stew about it for a long time. And not everything is successful, but they try a lot of they're willing to try a lot of different things, kind of knowing that everything's not gonna be as successful as another. And so that's almost the opposite of too careful planning up front, where just do something. If it works, do more of it. If it doesn't,
yeah.
And I've only seen us do that one time and that was the candlesticks.
yeah.
That's the only time I've ever seen like, okay, we're just gonna shoot from the hip and do something for the sake of doing it. In a lot of ways, it was a breath of fresh air to see something just happen like, okay, we're just gonna do it and then we'll evaluate it.
So think about like that concept. So we had one and it didn't work out as well as we hoped,
Exactly.
right? If we had done 2 other things that worked out better than we hoped, what would the tenor of the community be kind of about that, about trying things like that, about being experimental?
Well, and you look at and I don't know if you can draw a parallel, but you look at what happened. It was like candlesticks. Okay, that doesn't work. Through that process, and maybe not through that process, I don't know if it was through that process or not, but like, here we are down the road. We're gonna completely redo Butler now. I mean, Butler's getting a complete facelift. And I have to think that was part of it.
It's directly related, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a cause and effect there, yeah.
It's a pilot project leading up to a official
Real big thing.
treatment.
Yeah, real big thing.
Yeah, that was part of the application.
I just have to check if I still have their hand.
Daniel, to add to that firing from the hip approach of things that we've done, I would put the Fremont asphalt art project in that category as well.
Oh,
And I encourage you to
okay.
check it out.
I have.
Yeah,
I have. It's
yeah.
awesome. It's actually holding up.
It really
I
is.
live there. I go by every
Maybe
day.
because it hasn't
Smile.
been very much moisture. Maybe that's why it's been holding up. But
Yeah.
the paint looks really good.
Has a spring. Ribbon on.
Hasn't been driven.
Yeah,
that's
Exactly.
why.
We had quite a bit of rain this spring.
Yeah,
Right,
a little bit.
that's the
Felt like
reason.
a lot of rain. But yeah, it's holding up great. It's pretty.
Yeah, it gets me excited for the Butler, right? Are you guys still looking to like paint? Is it Butler? Yeah, down at past Country Club there, to make it a 1 lane or something like that. What you guys talking about that? Country Club. Am I on the wrong? Hang on, I don't think about it.
That's
Sorry.
all right.
No big deal.
You mean the traffic calming at Fox Glen?
And Fox Glen, but on,
That's not paint though.
no, but I thought you said there was gonna be paint going on Butler past Fox Glen, no.
No, nothing planned. Yeah, like from Fox Glen out
About that,
to the end of it. Yeah.
for all the people walking on, you talked about that.
It's an idea. There's nothing definitive planned
Gotcha.
for, I think that's an
Is that the
idea worth considering. Yeah.
Okay. You guys are looking for a letter of support for Safe Streets for All grant? That is next. In 1 minute, I'll pull up the letter.
So, yes, we are, also next week, we will be submitting a Safe Streets for All grant application. This is the 4th year of their 5-year grant cycle. We've had a lot of success with this program over the last few years. Butler Avenue Complete Street Project, the Streets Master Plan Project, and now hopefully the conceptual planning amendment to the active transportation master plan project. So this application is largely built off of one that was submitted last year and did not receive funding. There were 3 application cycles last year. We applied with this one to the 3rd, and there's evidence to suggest that it was oversubscribed for this type of grant. We've had a lot of success, so ultimately we think that it's worth going back to this application cycle with a similar but refined application. This is for supplemental planning funds and in the amount of just over $1 million. And what it will do is create an amendment to the active transportation master plan and create a new section that would house concept level design plans for some high priority projects. We do have those projects outlined. I can share them with you guys because I think that would be of interest. So these are the ones that we've settled on. And remember, this is for a design plan. So it would bring concept level plans to about 30%, which gives us great cost estimates, better than what we have now, provides an advantage for future grant funding for implementation efforts. So it could go a long way towards receiving implementation funds, and helps us just assess the overall feasibility of the project. Included in this list is the Milton Bikeway. And please stop me if you want more description on where any of these are. But the Milton Bikeway, the McConnell Bikeway, Santa Fe Foots Trail, what we're calling the South Milton Foots Trail, the Milton Road Ped Bike Bridge, which would span Milton Road from a future Santa Fe Foots Trail across to the Milton Bikeway. This General Mall area bikeway and this Steves and Lakin area sidewalk infill.
Remind me where McConnell is.
McConnell is so sort of in like the Walmart South Campus
I
area.
was talking about that.
Yeah, it intersects with Beulah and
Yeah.
goes to campus.
So we looked at, sorry, Chris, we looked at these in a map. There's Milton and there's Santa Fe that goes south and then west. And everything until the last two connect to it. So it's like a main spine and then
Right.
connections to it, kind of in the central part of town.
Yeah, so it really, like this group of projects would really establish, like fit a missing puzzle piece into the greater network that we have a lot of interest in. We've tried a couple of grant applications to get a few of these funded, including one to active transportation and infrastructure investment program, where I wrote a whole spiel about how it's really a puzzle piece that fits into the active transportation network. I feel very strongly about those ones.
The mall is the area between the North 89 Foots, like where the
Yep.
Flagstaff Ranger District
Yep.
is, and then the rest of it that starts by Route 66. And how do you get past the mall basically on bike or on foot? Steve's Lakin references sidewalks, but it really could be for that whole area where Steve's and Lakin is by the shopping center, kind of a complete streets exercise with
Right.
crossings, bike lanes, and where the sidewalks are missing.
So do we have any questions about the projects that are included? Because ultimately, I am looking for a letter of support from the Bicycle Advisory Committee. I got some assistance from Metro Plan drafting this letter of support, and I put a few sentences in that sort of reflect what I imagine the BAC would, echo. I have this in a Word document. I'm happy to make changes to it. This is a pretty quick turnaround. It's due on Thursday of next week. So I ideally would like to leave with a signed copy today, which I can, once we finalize what it says, that we can make any changes. And then after we're done, I can go and print it and Daniel can sign it today.
We can lock this door from the outside. We hope it doesn't come.
And
White smoke.
I'm assuming like what the kind of key words are that they're looking for
Or
the.
aren't looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not easy. But yeah, I've tried to emphasize connectivity from residential areas to opportunity. So commercial areas essentially, and giving option, because it's very heavily based around safety.
Right.
And using the safe systems approach, which essentially means separating users in space and time. So creating sound facilities is still very much aligned with what they are asking.
Does there need to be anything that says how it supports drivers?
No.
No, okay.
No, you actually can't do
Oh, okay.
improvements that are aimed at improving vehicular traffic. Yeah, this one is still largely intact from the last 2 years that we've worked with it.
That's probably has to be pluralized, these projects.
Sure, let me open this in Word and we can do this on the fly.
Um, it's the wrong one. I didn't know I had any ethical guidelines. It's new.
This is from yesterday.
Martin, you ought to tell me what those are.
You see one under staff reports. It might be.
Okay.
This one.
Now we can work with this.
You guys see anything else? What are these, in accordance with all existing agency rules, I'm looking at the last paragraph, of regulations and ethical guidelines.
Mhm. So that is a holdover statement from, ultimately, this was drafted by Metro Plan for federal and state legislators to use as a template.
Okay.
We can take that out.
I mean,
Or
I'm
we
fine
can
with
do
it, I just don't know what they are, I just don't know what, I'm assuming that it's in accordance with existing agency rules. I'm assuming everything we do is in accordance with some kind of agency rules.
That almost feels like imagine if this letter is coming from two senators and the congressman, that it's like explicitly saying, we're not asking you to do anything out of the ordinary.
There you go.
We're within all of your agency rules. Please consider this.
Okay.
All right, great. Well, this one is an action item, so we'll leave that to the committee.
So I know this may sound dumb, but I'm gonna say it, but. So this is a letter we're sending from our group, the Bike Advisory Council. Is that right? Once that we talked about bikes, do we not? Like, where is it?
Well, I think that there was some problem with federal grants recently
Yeah.
that if you use the word bicycle, then you get flagged and.
Gotcha.
I'm using non-drivers in this letter.
We do not want to get flagged.
Yeah. Yeah, there was other words like
It's a control F
Climate
scenario.
climate change,
Equity, don't
inclusivity,
use those words.
equity.
I think multimodal is still in,
Birds too.
but you probably should only use it twice.
I did notice that you were very careful to not use any of the words that you used to have to use in order.
No, I used to enjoy using them.
Bicycle still is in it.
City of Flagstaff bicycles, I agree.
Yeah.
Miller, Val, do you guys have any thoughts on this one?
I support it.
Same.
You guys ready to vote? I'll make a motion that the BAC sign the proposed letter of support of the SS4A supplemental planning grant. All in second? All in
Second.
favor? Second, third? All in favor?
Daniel and Jen.
Yes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. I'm gonna work on printing this out. You can sign it today.
Right.
Try and get that money, exactly. This one, I heard early on that it's undersubscribed for supplemental planning, the supplemental planning side of things. And they're looking to award between 400 and 700 projects. This is I think there's $580 million available. So
Yeah,
they could cut us off some of that.
good job. One of my favorite topics, state and local bicycle laws.
So this was a request from the last meeting that we had when we got to the end of the meeting and we're talking about agenda items. And we have a discussion about what are the relevant state laws and local laws for bicyclists. So I've got kind of a presentation here that summarizes them. I'll ask first, like how much detail do we want to go into? This could be fairly general. We can go into a little bit of detail. We thought, I'm not sure kind of where all of you are. You're way ahead of us in this regard. So we'll disregard that for a moment, but do you want,
I'll learn something.
it felt like it was a good opportunity just as kind of a primer for what's in state law. relative to bikes to go through it. It feels like it's something really helpful for you guys to understand and
Yeah.
know.
I think it's nice to have the resource too, but I don't think we have to go into like the nitty-gritty, yeah.
detail. Okay.
But I like looked through it and I was like, oh, I didn't know that for sure. That's good to know.
Okay, so we'll go through it pretty quickly, but just jump in if you want to talk about something in more detail. So first, ARS has a lot of definitions. This is one for bicycle. We could get into like all kinds of details about any one of these slides that we go through.
Yeah.
Like, is this one, are there bikes that have wheels less than 16 inches and they therefore don't count? Anyway, we don't have to do that, but it includes trikes as well, which is interesting. There's now more recently in the last couple of years, a definition for electric bike. I guess before we go on, I should probably give two kind of qualifiers to this whole discussion. A is that there's been some editorialization, if that's a word, about what gets included and what doesn't in this list. So understand that there's more that's not necessarily directly related to bikes, but maybe indirectly related to bikes. And then two, I've put in the things that are highlighted so we can kind of skip to the important language. But again, this is just my version of it. It's always kind of, and I tried to copy the exact language so you can see that instead of trying to reinterpret it. But there are a lot of people that get into serious weeds when it comes to bike laws and how they're interpreted and what they mean. They're not always super clear, which kind of lends itself to people getting into the weeds about what they mean. And sometimes the courts clarify it, sometimes not. Anyway, so e-bike added within the last couple of years. It seems relevant that they have to have fully operable pedals and the motor is limited to 750 watts. And then it further goes into the three classes. Class 1 is pedal assist, 20 miles per hour. Class 2 can have a throttle and is limited to 20 miles per hour. And then Class 3 is pedal assist at 28 miles per hour. I wanted to include this one because it's the definition of motor vehicle. And the definition, this is not the complete definition, of course, but it specifically exempts electric bicycles. So I find it interesting when people talk about when we post at a Foots Trail, for example, no motor vehicles. And they'll use the argument that an electric bike has a motor, therefore it must be a motor vehicle. State law actually explicitly defines electric bicycles not to be a motor vehicle. Is that clear?
Yeah.
I would say specifically no e-bikes.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
different, yeah.
Right. Also in definitions, I've listed some of the other things that are defined. We could have a whole meeting on just how these what these definitions are, how they overlap, how they conflict in some cases, and what they mean, but you can get kind of an idea. Motorized skateboard, motorized wheelchair, pedestrian. Neighborhood electric shuttle, neighborhood electric vehicle. There's a lot in there. And a lot of these are new, like have been added as these devices have been essentially invented. Okay, moving on. This one is applicability. I highlighted the part that says on a path. So what it means is that the bike laws apply even if you're on the Foots Trail, not necessarily if you're just riding in the street. This is one where we always start kind of our bike ed classes. And it says that a bicyclist is granted all of the rights and is subject to all of the duties applicable to drivers in ARS. And then at the end, it says, except those things which can have, by their nature, have no application. So like have to apply to bikes. What that means is that ARS, the state statute, doesn't have to say that bikes must stop at a stop sign. That it already says that for drivers, so it applies to bikes by default. So there's the other way of looking at it is everything that's in here for bikes should be just because of how unique bikes are. There shouldn't be anything in there that overlaps or contradicts with how a bike operates versus how a car operates. If that makes any sense. These are pretty standard things. You have to sit in the seat versus, I guess, the handlebars, or things. You can't have more
Basket.
people on a bike that it's designed to carry. Gonna cling to another vehicle. It makes sense to us as adults, but kids think of this differently, I think. This is the one that is the ride right. So what it says is that you need to ride as close as practicable to the right-hand curb or edge of the roadway, and then it gets 4 exceptions when you can move over. This is important in our bike ed classes because you really need to move over from the right-hand side if you fit one of those 4 exceptions. Safety demands that you move over from the right-hand side if you have one of those 4 exceptions. Especially the last one. If the road is too narrow, this is the provision where you can take the lane and actually, it's safer. And then 2 is very much safety related as well. If you're making a left turn, you need to be on the left side of the roadway. Let's see. Also in that same section,
Can you go back to that previous slide?
sure.
And this one's always interesting to me because we always try to take the lane to avoid getting right hooked when you're coming up to an intersection instead of staying far right and trying to go through with cars who might turn right into you. You get behind the car and proceed through that way.
Yeah.
That's one way to make sure that you don't get right hooked. But yet, yeah, I've always kind of thought about this. It says, if reasonably necessary to avoid conditions including fixed or moving objects, parked or moving vehicles, with bicycles, pedestrians, animals, or surface hazards. I always read that because it doesn't explicitly say you can take the lane if you think you're going to get right hooked or just to make sure that you don't get right hooked. That's not what it says. It says that ride as far to the right as you can. You shall ride as close as practicable to the right-hand curb or edge of the roadway, which the law is telling you, you have to ride in the bike lane. You have to ride as far right as you can. How often do we violate that? How often do we purposefully get into the lane and take the lane? Because when you do that, you are not riding as close as practicable to the right-hand curb or edge of the road.
Well,
Are you talking about a
unless
situation where
you're
there's a bike?
avoiding conditions of
Yeah,
moving
is there a
on.
bike lane or is there no bike lane?
Either way.
If there is a bike lane to go straight, he's getting over, which makes sense because there's so much traffic. You see people with blinkers that if you don't take that lane, they're gonna go up and get over you and
Well,
take you out.
couldn't you, if you're stopped at a stop light, whatever, couldn't you queue up ahead of the car so that but they're gonna see you before they turn right?
Well,
That's a green light.
So every time I approach an intersection and there's a car.
If it's a green light and you see their blinker, then you're gonna back off and let them go ahead of you.
But
Well, if there's a car, I usually just get behind the car. And I let the car either go straight through the intersection and I follow them, or turn right and then I go straight through the intersection, and then I get back to the bike lane.
But usually if there's a bike lane, the bike lane disappears at an intersection.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
you've got it. You have to take the lane because the bike lane disappears.
You have to take the lane.
Yeah, the
Uh,
bike lane disappears.
I feel like you can justify moving
Yeah.
over.
Oh, no, I
To the
think.
lane
It
with
it
number
disappears at an
Yeah, and I've
intersection.
never seen anybody.
Like, and then there's usually
receive
a right
ticket.
turn lane. It disappears. So you have to take, there's no choice but to
Yep.
take the lane.
Because if you're in the right turn lane.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
you shouldn't go straight because it's a right turn lane.
Well,
Yeah.
and for me, I
Sometimes you get
really,
wedged into.
Sorry, I thought if you're both queued up at a stop sign or
or
whatever,
a
stop
stoplight,
light,
whatever, yeah.
then you're queued up, I would just
Go a little ahead.
be
Yeah.
ahead so they wouldn't. But
Well, and for me, I don't like to take the lane like this and give the car behind me the idea that, yeah, exactly, you take the lane.
Yeah.
You don't ride as close as practicable to the right-hand curb.
take.
Yeah, you take the lane, right? Like, you have to.
Claim your space.
Yeah, no, it's true, because if you don't claim that space, then the car behind you is gonna think, oh, I can go around them.
Well, and in late spring, I'm staying as far left as I can that bike lane, because the farther right you get, the more cinders and glass you get,
Right.
because they haven't cleaned the streets.
That's true. So I think practicable is kind of
That's what they get you.
well, that's the word that gives you the wiggle room that, and I've never seen a cop pull over a bike and say, hey, I saw you took the lane there, like you aren't as far right as practicable. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen, so.
I think probably reasonable minds could have a discussion about whether this is even necessary,
Yeah,
given that there are, we operate like drivers of vehicles and there are plenty of rules and guidelines for where to position yourself on the roadway or within the lane.
Yeah.
That guide that you have to tell people to stay on the right-hand side. Okay?
Yeah.
Should we move? Shall not ride more than 2 abreast. This comes up on group rides on Lake
Yep.
Mary. That's
So you
particularly
can ride 2 abreast.
can ride 2 abreast, yeah. In fact, I think this goes back to that taking a lane thing. Like there's 2 of you and you're riding side by side, then you're the width of a car at that point. That seems safer. Like nobody's going to try to make an unsafe pass. Riding on roadway and bicycle path. This just says that a path or lane, so that could include foot trails or bike lanes, are for the exclusive use of bikes. And then D is that a vehicle shouldn't operate, stop, park, or leave standing vehicle in a bike lane or a pathway.
how about a trash can?
Yeah.
I don't see that in there.
Yeah.
Equipment, so you need a lamp in the front, visible at least 500 feet, white light, a red reflector on the rear. And then go into some detail, visible from 50 to 300 feet. And it's interesting because it says a bicycle may have a lamp that emits a red light on the rear in addition to the red reflector. I mean, technically, I have a blinky light in the back. I have no reflectors on that.
That's not legal. I don't have one.
It's not legal, yeah,
Yeah.
we're illegal. You should have a siren or a whistle. I saw somebody once with an air horn, literally on their bike, not until they notified.
I have a rubber ducky that I can squeeze.
You're right on the edge. You need to have brakes, which enable the operator to make the braked wheel skid. How many have front brakes on your bike? How many think you can make your front wheel skid? Yeah, you really can't.
And not hurt yourself?
And not go over the handlebars. Yeah, you really can't.
Going around
That
a
is
turn on
illegal.
gravel, I can.
Yeah, exactly.
Nonetheless. Also relatively new, here's a section on electric bikes. So it just says that they're granted all the rights and privilege and subject to all the duties of a person riding a bike. If you go back, a person on a bike is subject to granted all the rights, subject to all the duties of a person driving a car. So it's like a 2-step, but we get there. And it's subject to the same provisions as bike. So it just clarifies that. B is like similar to the motor vehicles, you don't have to have title, registration, vehicle license, driver license, or insurance, like a car does. Electric bikes are supposed to have a label. Feels like like half the time, I don't know that I see labels all the time that indicate what kind of, if it's a class 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah,
Mine does not have
Again.
one.
they sell them on Amazon
Do they?
for like $3. You can get anyone you want.
I have a class 4. And here it gets a little bit interesting. Class 1 and class 2 may be used on bicycle and multi-use pathways. However, that second sentence says that the local authority that manages that bike lane or multi-use path can prohibit class 1 or class 2 scooters. This was always kind of interesting to me when this came out, because usually ADOT leaves management of local facilities to the locals, but here they actually kind of preempted it and said that those kinds of bikes are legal unless you make it illegal. We've gone through the discussion here at the city we'll cover that in a bit. But if you haven't gone through that, then state, like if you're a municipality that has pathways, for example, and you have not gone through that exercise, then by default, class 1 and 2 e-bikes are allowed in those pathways. The other side of that is class 3 is not allowed on a bike lane or multi-use path unless the local authority allows it. Again, we've gone through this discussion a few years ago, and we'll see at the city level, we'll see the results then.
So are those cargo bikes, are those class 3? Do they go 28? They're pretty fast.
All the new ones are all in that.
Yeah.
Are you saying that they can't be on a bike lane on the main road, the little strips on the road? They have to be in the street?
Yeah, I mean, I think that bicycle or multi-use path, I think that bicycle
Yeah.
path is what they're talking about, yeah.
They're not allowed to go right. They're supposed to be in the middle of the street.
Yeah,
As far right as practicable.
No, they're not allowed on that, right?
Well,
They're supposed to be right in the middle,
the close, well, no.
Is it a bicycle or is it a car?
right?
this is the
Going
story.
back to where it says e-bikes have the same rights and responsibilities as bikes. Bikes have the same rights and responsibilities as cars, but bikes have to stay as far right as practicable.
Well, they're not allowed in the bike path, but they have to stay to the right of the bike path. That's weird.
It is. It is very weird. And then you get on campus and where are you supposed to ride?
Right.
According to the campus rules, ped path, right? It's called a ped path. And what is the ped path? Sidewalk.
Yeah.
That's what I'm actually in a big fight with an insurance company about this right now. Oh, yeah. Yep. Because our guy's on a sidewalk. Uber driver turns in front of our guy who's on the sidewalk. Our guy flips over and very badly injured. And they want to say, no, we didn't violate his right of way. He shouldn't have been on the sidewalk. So
You're gonna win your case.
that's where the rubber meets the road in these
This
laws
is-
though.
yeah, yeah.
It's not really about the cops pulling you over and giving you a ticket. It's about when you get injured, when you're riding your bike, will the insurance company be able to use these laws to say, we're not gonna pay you anything because you weren't riding your bike where you were supposed to?
Yep. Yeah, two really good points about this. I mean, just the little conversation that we've had indicates why people spend a lot of time getting into the weeds about this. It's often not clear. In some cases, it appears to be contradictory. So like we talk a lot about it. And then second, just as Daniel said, this rarely plays out in that area where a cop is writing you a ticket or not because you violated that law. It almost always plays out when something has happened. They're trying to figure out who was to blame.
But do you know who decides?
The insurance companies.
The cop.
Oh, with what they write.
With what they decide in their report is like, that's what decides it. You can hire an expert to do an accident reconstruction, and it really doesn't matter because the cop has written a report and said it was the bike's fault, or the cop has written a report and says it was the
Uber
driver's fault.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Thank you for sharing that.
Right? And so that's why I think education for officers is very important, because you have certain officers who will say on body camera, I'm sorry if there's any officers here, but it's true. Oh, these damn bicycles, they think they can do whatever they want. In that case that I'm describing, the officer's got his arm around the Uber. It's okay. These bicycles think they can do whatever. Oops. While in the background, the guy's getting loaded on an ambulance.
Let's go on to the Flagstaff City Code. I'll start off by saying there's a lot of overlap with what's in ARS, like some of the things that we just looked at. There's probably not a whole lot of advantage to having the same thing stated in City Code as already in ARS. And there may be some disadvantages, but they're in there. So the slides that I've highlighted on the city side are just things that are unique from ARS or different or in addition to. So we have a whole table in city code that describes where different things may operate. And so we, like I said, we went through the process of considering this and adopting our own rules so we don't default back to ARS in the case of e-bikes and scooters.
And that asterisk is that asterisk next to sidewalks because there's a different rule that's for downtown?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah. Which means that they can be posted to prohibit them. So if it's posted, even though bikes are allowed on sidewalks, where it's posted downtown, they're not allowed on sidewalks. The same with foots.
And that's what makes it pretty crazy is because you can go like, say, San Francisco, you can start up by the hospital where it's legal to ride on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And then you can go through downtown where it's illegal. And then you keep going onto campus where it's legal.
Yeah, and even on San Francisco, if you're going south to north, you can't be on the sidewalk between Butler and Phoenix. You can be on the sidewalk between Phoenix and Route 66. You cannot be on the sidewalk from 66 to Cherry. You can be on the sidewalk from Cherry to Columbus. All of what I just said is true. So we could have a discussion. I mean, what it means is that we should think about if that's important, how we convey that expectation or that really more than expectation, regulation in this case of where bikes should be or not be. We have signs that I don't know do a particularly good job. I've seen places that have like a stamp right on the curb ramp that says, no bike.
Durango is has in the sidewalk like a dismount here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you get to their downtown area in the sidewalk.
It should say more than that, it's against the law, basically. Like, it shouldn't say for common courtesy, please dismount. It should say
Yeah.
law.
Yeah.
The law says you can't ride in the sidewalk here.
Yeah, that would be really weird to put, like you said, for your example, you'd have the pavement all over. Come on.
On the sidewalk, off the sidewalk. I know that part between Phoenix and Route 66 is really handy for getting kind of going across the tracks right there to be able to ride on the sidewalk for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then under operations, it explicitly disallows electric bikes and scooters from Arizona Trail and Nate Avery Trail in Buffalo Park. Also under operations, if you are allowed to be on the sidewalk on the footpath, there are 3 rules: yield the right of way, give an audible signal when overtaking and passing. I wish more people knew that.
Yeah.
I think it feels like it used to be more standard. I think in Europe, everybody has a bell and everybody uses it. Everybody knows to listen for a bell and to get over when they hear a bell.
So what do you guys use for your audible signal?
Rubber ducky squeaks.
I got a bell, but most of them have earbuds in, so they don't hear anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Either a bell or say something.
I always go.
Passing.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
I have a friend who says he doesn't speak bell. He likes to use words so people know,
Yeah.
on your left, on your right. So.
I do that. Yeah. I don't know. The bell is convenient, but it feels, I don't know, impersonal or rude sometimes.
All those.
People always
I just get
smile
off
when
my
rubber
bike
ducky.
and walk.
Yeah.
Did you
Well, I
smile?
don't, but it lost its hate.
And dogs are stoked.
I'm super shy about talking to strangers, so I like the bell. Okay, and the last one is follow requirements of any posted signs relating to proper etiquette. That feels like it'd be a tough ticket to determine, but how you would know. We have a section on bike helmets, so anyone under the age of 18 has to wear a helmet.
Did I miss the page on signaling by chance?
I didn't include it, but there is actually the part about signaling is in the part in ARS for cars. Like it's the same signals for cars as bikes,
Okay.
basically.
It's a driver's license thing.
Yeah.
You have to know your hand signals to get your driver's license.
It feels really,
Oh, you do?
like it should be for bikes specifically,
Yeah.
right?
Well, as David helped us, he can do this or that.
Yeah.
On this.
For right turn.
So
Yeah.
if you're, say, like you're in a turn lane, left or right, do you have to be just like the whole time you're in a turn lane? Is that the law?
Do
Someone
cars
yelled
have their
at-
blinker on?
Nah.
Yeah.
Someone yelled at me, they're like, use your arms. I'm like, I'm in.
That's funny.
I'm trying to steer, brake, signal.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I told her I was turning, I had the brake and I did this and the car was like,
Yeah, that's it.
wait, this is
Also-
turning, like.
But no, I was like in a left turn lane at a red light. Someone rolled as they passed me, rolled down their window, and like, you need to use your arms. And I was like, I don't know, I'm in the turn lane.
Does it say you
I don't
can
know.
use this for right, or do you have to use your,
Yes.
you can do this?
This
You
one
can
has
see
either
there?
one.
Okay. I feel like no one knows what you're doing if you put your left
Yeah,
hand
I
up like
agree.
this, so I just am like, I
stop.
go in there, go in there, I don't know.
I agree with that.
I think they do have the signal thing in this.
Yeah.
This little guide. Okay, another thing that was added was a truthful name. So if you're, pulled over by the police, suspected of committing a violation, you have to provide your truthful name, date of birth, and current address. I don't understand this, entirely. Honestly, I believe it's because, like as a bicyclist, you don't have to carry identification. For example, you don't have to have a driver's license, whereas you would if you're driving a car.
It's interesting that they use.
At least you don't have to state your gender.
It's interesting that,
Truthful pronouns.
it, you only have to do it if, the officer has a reasonable suspicion that you have committed a violation of this chapter.
Huh.
Right?
Okay.
No, I mean, an officer has
So
to,
it's
has
the same
to be able
when
to
you're
say
pulled
that.
over, right?
Yeah. So if the
Yeah,
officer has
anytime
no
you're detained
reasonable
by-
suspicion that you've done anything wrong, you don't have to give them your name.
And
Now, that's at
anytime-
your own peril, because they will arrest you.
We'll find that reasonable.
You might win that down the road, though.
Other guys are here.
Go ahead, Bob.
When did this get added? What, this truthful name thing?
I believe it was 2019.
Okay, all right, never mind. This is so weird.
But shall not be compelled to answer any other question of a peace officer.
Last thing is, again, in 2019, we added a requirement for a permit for any vendors that provide rental of scooters or bicyclists in the right of way. There's some context to this which is now forgotten, but the predominant business model for scooter rental companies like Lime and I forget who was all Bird and who was all operating at that time, was to like overnight dump a bunch of scooters in different cities, and then they were available. And it was becoming problematic for cities, and so the city of Flagstaff kind of preempted that by requiring a permit, even though nobody had done it yet. So if a company came and dumped scooters on the street, we had some mechanism to enforce that and work with them to kind of manage that program. Does that make sense?
At least I know how to contact them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, put them on notice, and you need to contact us first before you dump scooters on the street. So that's all with the laws, I think, these kind of are a good summation of both kind of best practices as well as what the current laws are. Kim is on a committee to redo this one. I think the state is gonna. One of us should.
I know.
They're gonna update this basically, and they give us like lots of copies. In the old days, we used to give these away at tabling events and stuff to people because it's a great like short guide, like you want to know,
That's what officers are supposed to give away.
yeah, what the basic
They
rule
give a
are.
ticket or a reasonable confrontation. A
Reasonable suspicion of.
There it is.
Yeah.
Daniel, anybody, is there anything noteworthy related to traffic stops on bicycles that differs in any major way from cars, vehicles? Same,
No, you have to identify yourself.
okay,
And then after that,
and you can be pulled over.
yeah, I mean, after that, it's up to you whether or not you want to participate in the investigation, where you are the sole and only subject of the investigation.
I was just
But
curious.
like if
There's-
you're blowing through a school zone, not going 15,
You can be
you
pulled over
can
for
get
speeding.
pulled
Yeah.
over,
Sure.
100%. Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, I assume so, yeah.
There's no DUIs on a bike.
So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
That is, I heard exactly the opposite. I heard you can get a DUI. No,
You can hurt yourself.
you can hurt yourself, you can hit a tree.
Okay, is that enough? Do you guys want any, I didn't include anything very interesting. You
Yeah, it didn't.
Yeah, thank you for putting that together.
Yeah, thank you.
want any follow-up or is that?
That's good.
Yeah.
You know, what's funny is I was looking at e-bikes for a friend of mine, it's just, they don't make under 750s anymore. Like all those, you know, and you're like, an e-bike is a thing that's under 750, like, you know.
Those are almost like
They're-
the class ones are almost the mountain bike ones.
Yeah, yeah,
That are trail legal.
right. Well, but just classifying any of them as an e-bike, it says has to be under 750.
Are they over that?
Yeah, yeah,
I have no idea what.
yeah, they're the, you know, but the higher it is, the longer the battery's gonna last, right? I mean, that's like the bigger battery, right? Isn't that? Or is it a bigger motor? But I was just
It's a
looking, and
bigger
I was like, they
motor.
don't have any.
Fortunately, I have to leave a little early today, but.
Thanks, Guy.
Right, it was 750 watts, right?
Yep.
Yeah. 1,800 watts. You know, like,
Did you guys come up with agenda items for next time? While I was not here? But next time. Are we doing, what are we doing now?
We could go real quick, just, the last thing is just the reports.
Yeah.
Did you all get a copy of the survey for micromobility share and were you able to take it? It might have been a couple of months ago. That survey is still open?
I believe it's still open. I think Kim could probably has better information than I do right now. Right, Kim?
I feel like it's the. Well, the RFP is supposed to be done next week, so it's close. If it's open, it's gonna close soon. It's close.
Where's the link for that?
On the city's website.
Yeah, Connect Flag.
We can send it out.
yeah,
I can't
If
remember.
it's on Monday.
I'm looking right now to see when it closes. Take the survey. Still open.
Okay.
oh, great.
She might keep it open in
20th.
2 days.
okay.
Can you like send that to the crew real quick?
Can I put it in the chat?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I did think. Link is in the chat for this meeting.
Okay, so we'll move through the rest of them. We included a copy of the Car Free First Friday survey that I think Sam and Dapper Dre worked on. Sam's not here, but if you have any questions, we can get those back to her. About that. The third one is the Arizona National Scenic Trail. And I don't know how many of you saw the article in the paper about Little America closing social trails through that area. We're working with the property owners in that area, as well as the Arizona Trail Association, to make sure that we just have continuous access to the Arizona Trail, that it stays open, connected. As that area develops, we'll have to find interim alignments to get around construction areas, including the construction of JWP. We have most of the easement for the alignment that exists now. If it gets realigned, we'll work with property owners to make sure that we get a better alignment than the one that's currently there. But, I think the thing that surprises a lot of people is all that area in there is privately held and is at some point will be developed. And we need to protect trail access. We need to make sure that all those areas that develop, we think of them in the short term as being developments. In the long term, they're neighborhoods where people live, that they have good access to trails to both get into town, to get to school and get to work, and to get out of town to get to recreation. So that's kind of our charge, is making sure that as those areas develop, that those trails and those trail connections are protected. The Arizona Trail, of course, because it is what it is, rises to a higher level. Like we have to make, we want to protect that experience as well for that. Moving on, Asphalt Foots is going to get, Kai left. This was his thing. Almost all the asphalt trails, 8 miles worth, are going to get redone beginning next week.
Next week.
Yeah, they will be. The ones that get done are going to get closed, starting with Fort Valley, but we're trying to get word out to the public about, when to expect closures and how long they'll last. Couple of grants, Safe Streets for All, Butler Avenue Complete Streets Conversion. We have a request for statement of qualifications out in the street, which means that firms that want to design that project give us their qualifications, and then we pick the best one, and then negotiate a price with them. That's for design of those improvements. Similarly, the Safe Streets for All, Safe Streets Master Plan, there's an RSOQ on the street. It's a little bit different in that we're asking for their qualifications in the field of planning. So what's their experience? What have they done previously in planning transportation and safe streets? So that is also on the street. So they get like a month or two to respond to the RSOQ. 2 transportation alternative grants, both of them you've seen, the Fort Valley sidewalks and bike lanes, and then the Mount Eldon Trail that the Forest Service is working on. Both of those grants have been submitted. We just wait now to see if they get funded.
When we hear them?
That's an excellent question. Hopefully, I guess
I think I probably asked this every.
historically, I would expect that we would hear back late summer, but it could be as late as the winter. ADOT can be a little finicky with things that they've done.
Keep asking.
Sure. Yeah, that's true.
I believe the state transportation board is not voting on those until August,
So not before August.
I believe.
Okay, one last thing. Huntington Avenue was repaved. Had chip seal applied to it from Ponderosa all the way to 4th. When we restriped it, we put a buffer next to the bike lane for that full length. It's like, I've ridden it the last 2 mornings just to, see how it works. I would encourage all of you to give it a try, see what you think.
Yeah. I did that yesterday, I think. I liked it.
What'd you think?
I think it's an improvement. In my experience, Huntington feels like it's gotten faster and busier. So having, so what used to feel more comfortable as a road, started to feel less comfortable. The buffers help.
Yeah, I feel like it forces cars to give you that 3+ feet.
Yeah,
To
exactly.
get that extra width for the bike lane, did you take it from the traffic lane or from the bike lane?
We took it mainly from the traffic lane, so where a lot of lanes are 12 feet and we can make them 11 without any consequence, really. We also, bike lanes are typically 4.5 feet. So like in this case, this bike lane is 4 feet. Like what you're seeing there, is 4 feet, and then the rest of it goes to the buffer. We thought that was a fair trade-off because like you're getting a buffer, there 4 feet is still enough to operate a bike, but you're getting that buffer. Again, I would encourage you to try that if you feel differently about that. I think we want to know how these things work.
Yeah, there's a lot of trailers on this road too, which is, total
Yeah.
rental and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And what I hated about the road before is that they'd have their trailer, here, right? The tire
Right.
from the trailer
Yep.
here. Now the tire.
Yeah, it's kind of like blue cheese, but I added some lime juice to it.
Yep,
Is it somebody talking to this or is that?
No, that was Val.
That was
Yeah.
me, sorry. Didn't realize I was unmuted.
Yeah.
I feel like with those RVs too, like or
Yeah.
big trucks, their mirrors hang really far over and they like,
They kill you.
yeah, the vehicle may not be super close to you, but that mirror is like really close to you and you feel the wind.
Yeah. So I thought I liked it. I was actually riding it thinking, wow, this isn't as bad as I thought. Okay.
Cedar Avenue is gonna get redone, this fall or late summer, between Fourth and, West, and we're gonna do the same treatment.
And you're gonna flatten
What's that?
it. You're gonna flatten it finally. You're making
Cedar Hill.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's, that's not that part. Yeah.
10 years to infinity timeframe.
I will say about Little America, they have, just my opinion. How awesome that I know they're getting some bad press because they're closing it down now, but they kept it open for so long. Like, how cool is that of them to like let people use their land for recreation without any compensation for years and years and years and years. So I know they're kind of getting some bad press because now there's a real fire danger. They have legitimate reason.
Yeah.
But, yeah, shout out to Little America.
I would take I don't disagree, but I think, like on the issue of fire, I think, like most trail users, if people are there for using trails, I think it's a different kind of dynamic than, how a lot of fires get started. I'll just.
Well,
say that.
there's an argument that trail users actually mitigate problems because they report problems or they say, hey, what are you doing? Don't play with matches right there, and the people who
Right.
play with
I mean,
matches are out there by themselves now.
That's like the eyes on the street, legitimate users will scare away, nefarious users.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, I know they put a disc golf course out there and, we cleaned up 20, 30 homeless encampments. And they haven't come back because the chains.
Disc golf.
Yeah, the chains and all the people walking around and it's no longer really super fun to camp there if you're homeless. So,
Maybe they'll change their mind if there's a lot of more homeless and fires and
That's true.
whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We're after 6:30, you go with me calling it? Martin, do you have anything else for the good of the
Nope.
order?
That's it. We covered it all.
Okay, thank you all. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks for hanging in there.
Apologize again for being late.
Should you rather in a,
Yeah, or platinum.
Hi,
platinum.
everyone.
Yeah.
city we all
David,
in
California.
August, Davis, yeah, the suburb of,
It's
something like that.
not perfect.
Have a great time in the canyon.
It's like.
I didn't scare.
And he
So
always
somebody, I think somebody was on an pedestrian,
like all of the.
described it
bike
perfectly.
lanes Put in,
You-
like, as.
They
Davis
started
wasn't
Lee's
that,
Fair,
like,
they go down and then
So like.
they take you out to a ranch.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
So like.
We go a long way. Is there a bathroom in there?
Stay overnight.
There is upstairs. Upstairs, yeah. Maybe it's these stairs that are right in the middle, head right after the top and then another right.